Okay.
Hello, Moto.
All right, Ms. Casada, I muted you because of the background noise, so you can remain muted until somebody needs to, ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. I was lowering that. Well, I was lowering it for you.
Okay, we are here today set for an adversary hearing. We are conducting this.
Hello, Moto.
Ms. Casada, I'm going to leave you muted until somebody needs to ask you a question or we need to get a verbal response from you. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Erin Mullinex appearing on behalf of Bailey Sapien for the mother Aurora Quezada. She's present. We're ready.
Jay Michelson on behalf of the father, Jesse Casey. He's not present and we're ready to the extent that Mr. Casey's absence provides.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the child.
Okay, and just for the record, Mr. Casey did appear at the first setting that we had in this case back on February 21st of 2023. And at that time, he, I believe, was requested the extension to obtain a court-appointed attorney. And Mr. Michelson was appointed to represent him. The reset date, I believe, was announced at that first hearing. All right. Yeah, that's correct. We did announce the reset date. And he did want an attorney. So, okay. Mr. Trout, how many witnesses you have today?
I'll just have one, Your Honor, and I don't know that it necessarily really matters since we have to have the hearing anyway. I know at the first hearing, Ms. Sapien announced that she and her client were in agreement. I don't know if that's still the case or not.
And Your Honor, I can speak to that. I believe that I'm fairly certain of the position, but if you could put me in a breakout room for just a minute with her, I can make sure that that's correct.
Okay.
I'm looking at a jail roster for a county just to see if somebody's in there. What height would you say is 4 foot 20 inches?
That's a good one.
I'm guessing 5'8", but I'm not sure.
Yeah. That sounds about right. All right, Ms. Mullinex, is that agreement that was announced in our first setting still good?
Your Honor, she is in agreement for the department to be named temporary managing conservator into work services. She has requested that she be able to go to rehab for a 90-day period. I don't know if the court wants to go ahead and order that or if she needs to do an OSAR first. And she wants the child to be moved to Nina Sandoval, who I think has had a home study done. I don't know if the results have come.
Okay, we'll take those questions sort of one at a time. She probably does need to have the OSAR done. And Ms. Tucker's nodding her head yes. And I'm perfectly fine with her doing that. And I assume if she's candid with the assessor, that would likely be a recommendation for her to go to inpatient. Have we done a home study on that individual?
Our judge, I requested the home study, and I think that they have already met with the aunt on that. They were following up on some references for them. So it hadn't been, I mean, it's been done, but it's still in the process.
Okay. So we're definitely looking at this family member.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Is this an aunt to the mother or aunt to the child?
I believe it's the mother's aunt. Or, Nicole, can you shake your head if that's correct?
It's actually, yeah, mother's aunt. Sorry, I had to think about it.
She's your aunt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Mullinax, does that at least cover those issues?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right then, Mr. Trout, if you want to go ahead and call your first witness.
Call, Mary Tucker, Mel Tucker.
All right.
And Ms. Tucker, how are you employed?
I'm a child protection investigator for the Department of Family Protective Services.
And are you familiar with the case that we're speaking about today?
Yes, sir.
And how are you familiar with that case?
I am the removing worker on the case.
Okay.
Investigator.
Okay, sorry. How did the department get to be involved in this case?
So back in December of 2022, there was a domestic violence incident between Aurora and Jesse, and law enforcement was called to the motel where the incident happened. Aurora had some marks on her from the assault. A police report was made at that time, and that's when the department originally got involved.
Okay. And you said Aurora, which is the mother of the child, and
Yes, sir. And
Jesse
yeah.
Casey, is he the father who was named as the father of the child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you able to speak with either parent?
So originally, when the report was made regarding that, Aurora had told law enforcement she was going to return home. The case got routed to Bailey County to another worker.
Okay. All right. So was a safety plan done at that time that you're aware of?
There was a safety plan done by that worker.
Okay.
Once we got her
Okay.
to kneel.
So let's fast forward to how you became back involved in the case. Did another report come in Amarillo?
So once Nicole was placed with or went to live with her family and the baby, then she left
Okay.
the home and returned back to Amarillo and got back with Jesse. And so a lot of attempts to locate them at that time were made by myself and the primary worker on the case, and then we had to put Jazarian on a C-scow and get the special investigators involved as well.
Okay. And about what time did that happen?
That went on through January and part of February, looking for them.
Okay. And so did you take over the case in February?
I took over the case on the 7th.
On the
Yes,
7th?
that's when we did locate the family here in Amarillo at the motel.
Okay. And when you located them, was everybody together?
Yes, Jesse and Nicole and the baby were in a motel room.
Okay. Were you able to have conversations with either one of the parents or both the parents?
Yes, I talked to both parents, and Nicole agreed to come to the department and talk with us, with the baby.
Okay. Did Jesse agree to do that?
He agreed to talk with me later on, but I wasn't able to find him after that. So I had Nicole and the baby with me, and we got to visit with her.
Charges or anything been filed on any type of domestic violence case that you're aware of?
There are pending charges on Jesse for the
Okay.
domestic
Is
violence.
that out of Potter County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that for domestic violence?
Yes.
Okay. Have those been filed? Has he been arrested or bonded? Are you aware?
He is not. As far as I know, up to this point, he has not been arrested for those charges.
Okay. All right. Does he have a warrant out of any other county that you're aware of?
Not that I know of.
And Judge, if I may stop for just one second, I did just get some documents that are certified documents on warrants out of Randall County on Mr. Casey. I believe at the last hearing, he stated that he had a warrant. But I just got the documents. I haven't had time to send them out to everybody yet. But if you'll give me just a second, I'll send these out. If that's okay.
Sure. All right, Mr. Trout, if you want to go ahead, that's fine.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. I would just like to admit these as exhibit. I believe it's a couple of different documents, 1 and 2. They're certified documents of a warrant for Jesse Casey for unauthorized use of a vehicle enhanced out of Randall County. There's also a certified copy of the complaint, a warrant, an indictment, and a bond surrender that was filed against him in January, and then a warrant, an active warrant right now that was filed in January.
Then I will admit petitioner's exhibit 1.
So have you said that you were able to meet with, or he agreed to meet with you, but that you haven't found him yet again? Were you able to meet with him to serve any paperwork?
Yes, after court, I had to kind of drive around a lot until he finally agreed to meet with me, because his main concern was I was trying to get him hemmed up and arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
I finally did get to meet with him and gave him the removal paperwork and helped him fill out for his court-appointed attorney.
Okay. During that time, did you have a conversation about any of these instances? Did he admit to anything, any drug use, anything like that during this time?
Yes, during when I met with Mr. Casey, he said that the domestic violence between them was blown way out of proportion. It was both of them. He did admit to daily methamphetamine use. And he said, I've cut down lately. And I said, well, that's good. He goes, oh, well, that's because I can't be out in the streets because I'll get arrested. So.
Okay. Do you believe that you heard that Ms. Aurora is agreeing to TMC to the department? Do you believe in regards to Mr. Casey that it's in the best interest of the child for the department to have temporary managing conservatorship?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking that both parents work services at this time?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that'd be in the best interest of the children also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How is the child doing right now?
We ended up getting a recommendation from the pediatrician to have him drug screen, and his levels were very high for the methamphetamines and amphetamines, and so he was having some issues sleeping and eating, but he's starting to sleep better, so, and eat now.
Okay. And is a child in a foster placement at this time?
Yes, sir. He's in a licensed foster home.
Okay. And we spoke earlier, there's possible home studies going on for some relatives. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Mulnex
No questions.
and Mr. Mickelson.
Just a few questions. Mel, when you said you met with Jesse, do you have an accurate telephone number or any contact information for him that you could provide me discreetly after this hearing?
Yes, sir. I just they have a talk to text phone. And I did share his information, your information with him so he could get a hold of you, but.
Okay. Were there any witnesses to the altercation between Jesse and the child's mother?
Any witnesses?
Yes.
I don't know for sure because I wasn't assigned the case at that time.
Who was assigned to that case at that time?
It was the worker out of Bailey County.
Okay. And do you have those records from Bailey County of her contacts?
We just got a copy of that police report that she talked to the officer about the incident.
Okay.
So,
Is there any witnesses as far as the treatment of the parents towards the child?
any witnesses as to the way the parents were treating the child?
Yes.
No, not really. Not any positive witnesses.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Zavala?
Ms. Tucker, I know we've got mother listed as Aurora, and then there were several times when you mentioned Nicole. Aurora and Nicole are the same person, correct?
Yes, ma'am. She goes by Nicole.
Okay, so anywhere previously where you were talking about Nicole, that's Aurora, and anywhere where you were talking about Aurora, that's Nicole.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further?
Not of this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions for Ms. Tucker? Okay. All right, then, you have any other witnesses, Mr. Trout?
Your Honor, I would like to call Aurora just to ask her one or two quick questions.
Sure, okay. All right, Mr. Trout, you may proceed.
Miss Aurora, just a quick question. A while ago, I noticed you looked like you were talking to somebody. Is Mr. Casey there with you?
No, we actually have not been together. I left him, I would say, the end of last week. We were getting into it. I couldn't do it anymore. He's texting me here and there, but just to check up on me. But other than that, we don't carry a conversation.
Okay. And when you say getting into it, verbal arguments, was there physical arguments?
No, it was no physical. It was just like arguments, just arguing with each other.
Okay. Do you have a good contact number to get in touch with him so that his attorney can, if you can pass that to your attorney?
The only contact I do have is the same number that I use my own self. Other than that, I don't know if he has another number or any other way you can contact him. The best way I would say is Facebook Messenger, but that's the best way I would say you could reach out to him.
What do you mean by your own number that you use? What do you mean?
It's because we share it's called Text Now. It's an app. We both share that number.
Okay. All right. Nothing further, Your Honor. I just wanted to see about that.
Okay,
I'll pass the witness.
all right, anybody have any other questions for Ms. Kazaa? Okay, then, anything further, Mr. Trout?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, department rest.
Department rest.
Okay, Ms. Molinax, any witnesses today?
No, Your Honor, rest.
Okay, Mr. Michelson?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, any witnesses today?
No witnesses, Your Honor, I would rest.
Okay, do you have a recommendation today?
It is my recommendation that Jazarian be in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department and remain in his placement until the home study could be completed. Have no objection to the home study. I would ask, because he was positive for meth at high levels and parents were positive for meth, I would ask that at least we have a clean UA before in-person visits, as I believe that would be in his best interest.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tucker, has mom drug screened for us recently?
We got her to screen on the 7th. But we haven't done any rescreening since then because he hasn't been in her care.
Did we, I mean, Have we gotten the results of that back?
Yes, ma'am, I filed those with the court.
You, Judge, if I may, I believe they were filed on, it looks like the 16th. UA was filed on the 16th and we're positive.
And the hair was filed after that. It was positive at a very high level for methamphetamines.
And do we have a UA?
The UA was filed first and it was positive.
Okay. But that's back mid-February. Okay. His mom had any visitation?
So we have scheduled weekly visits since the removal. She had one the day that we picked up for 30 minutes and she left, and we thought set up one the next week, and she's missed two of the 4 or 5 that we've scheduled, and it was due to communicating with her via the phone. It sometimes doesn't work if she doesn't have Wi-Fi, so I don't know. St. Francis scheduled a visit for her yesterday and no one showed, so she really needs to stay in contact with us so we can be on a consistent basis with that.
Okay. Ms. Quezada, the reason I'm asking these questions is because, I want you to be able to see the baby, but I want that to be safe for the baby. And, methamphetamine can be transferred skin to skin. When was the last time you used?
I have not used since the day that I was caught, or the day y'all had found me. I would say when I stopped, I was having I was sleeping more and I was eating a lot more. I would catch myself feeling nauseated and really bad headaches. But now it's getting a little better.
So you're going to need to do this OSAR, assessment, and that may take just a bit. And then, if you go to inpatient treatment, then you may be away for a while. So what I'd like to do is, let's get another UA on mom. And, that'll put us, about 3 weeks from our last one. And, if that's clean or shows pretty low, then I'll allow her to go ahead and have in-person contact with the baby. If it's still showing high, Ms. Quezada, I'm probably not going to let you have that kind of close contact with the child. His levels were so high that we just need to get him over this hump. So it's not meant in any capacity to punish you. It's just I just want to make sure it's safe for the baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, at this time, then I'm going to find the evidence is sufficient to name the department as temporary managing conservator based on the continuing and ongoing danger to the child's health and safety. The fact that the child was born positive at very high levels to methamphetamine. I find reasonable efforts were made to avoid the removal, and that the child cannot be safely placed back in the home of either mother or father at this time. We'll get you started on these services, Ms. Quezada. I think it's a very good sign that you are willing and wanting to go to an extended inpatient program. I think that's the very best decision you could possibly make for yourself and for your child. So as hard as that is, I really encourage you to stick with that and go get it done as soon as you can. So we'd like to try to get that OSAR set up for her, yesterday, as fast as we can do it. Yeah. Ms. Tucker.
So she needs to work, I mean, she needs to contact her St. Francis worker, Mickey Little, who is trying to get the family plan of service and get her started. But like I said, communication has been minimal. So we're ready to get her started.
Yeah, Ms. Quezada, do you know how to get in touch with Ms. Little? Do you have her phone number?
Actually, we just talked yesterday, and I have to meet with her tomorrow at 3.
Good. Okay, great. Make that appointment, because the sooner
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get with her, the sooner we can get things rolling for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, then I will see everybody back for our status hearing on April 4th of 2023. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. Ms. Quezada, since you're not sure yet where you may be going, if you're going to be, you very well may be out of the area in a treatment program. If we'll go ahead and set the proceeding by Zoom so we can do this electronically. Odds are better that you will be able to participate. If you are in treatment, that you can log in and participate in that hearing. If for some reason you can't, just let your lawyer know, and your lawyer will appear for you, make sure that, any of concerns or questions you have get addressed. And so, don't panic if for some reason you can't appear. Just be sure you've talked to your lawyer. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and find good cause to set it by Zoom, because mom very well may be away and at treatment. And if there is an objection to that, of course, counsel, you can timely object to that, and we'll revisit it. All right, then. Best of luck, Ms. Quezada, and I'll see you maybe then April 4th.
Thank you.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, I figured it out. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear y'all.
That's okay. I was just I was getting ready to send you a suggestion to try, but you found it. Good.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Reyes, who is present with you?
This is Miss Martha Martinez.
Okay, mom's present with you. Okay. I've got somebody else logged in on another phone device. I'm not sure that we'd be expecting anybody else. Is anybody anticipating anyone else?
Not that we know of. Take a put that in. Yes, I don't know who else would be on. As far as we both know that neither one of us had anyone else coming in.
Okay. All right. All right, then. I will call cause number 9. We're here today on a reset of our adversary hearing, and we are conducting this through the Zoom program based on a finding of cause and the agreement of the parties. Mr. Trout, how many witnesses do you have? Or counsel, do y'all need to talk, or where are we?
I don't know. I got emails from Mr. Nowak and Mr. Hammond yesterday. I'm not sure that they had met with their client, so I don't know if they've been able to yet. If we needed to meet, or if they need to meet with their client, Your Honor.
Judge, I can tell you TD Hammonds for Martha Martinez. I was just able to speak with her about 30 minutes ago. She is in agreement with the department having temporary managing conservatorship. She's willing to cooperate with the department and go over a service plan with them and go from there. So I don't know if Mr. Nowak has any objections or not to that.
May it please the court. I spoke to Mr. Reyes this morning, and he is willing to work services.
All right, so he's willing for the department to be named temporary managing conservator.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, then it sounds like you all have an agreement. All right, let's go ahead and just get everybody's formal announcements on the record.
Daniel Trout for the Department of Texas and Department of Texas Family and Protective Services.
TD Hammonds for the mother, Martha Martinez. We're present, ready to proceed, Judge.
Vince Novak for Rudy Reyes. I'm here with my client and judge. We are ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the child, here and ready.
Mother and dad have both agreed to name the department as temporary managing conservator and to work services. I assume everybody's agreeable, no child support or medical support, so that their resources can be devoted to working services and providing housing and transportation for themselves. And Ms. Zavala, are you good with that arrangement?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, and you believe that that's in the best interest of Ariel?
I do.
Okay. All right, then, I will approve the agreement, find the evidence is sufficient to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as temporary managing conservator of the child, Ariel Reyes. We'll expect parents to work services. We'll talk more about that at our next hearing. And no child support or medical support will be ordered. Okay. So our next hearing is April 4th. Between now and then, St. Francis worker's going to sit down with y'all, talk about what services you're going to need to work. You can get started on those anytime.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then. I appreciate y'all's cooperation. Best of luck to you, and I'll see you back in April.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're now officially done with us, aren't you?
I am today. Yes, ma'am.
I can't believe you don't want to hang out with us.
I'm getting hungry.
We'll go ahead and take
Ready to
announcements.
eat.
Todd Alvey on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present, ready to proceed. The St. Francis Ministries caseworker is Lisa Gotsey. She is also present. T.D. Hammonds for the mother, Maria Velasquez, ready, Judge.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the boys, here and ready.
Okay. So I've read the court report. Do we have any new developments since that was filed?
Yes, so Maria did schedule her OSAR appointment for 2/23 at 3 p.m. She reached out to me on 2/22 at 5:31 p.m. and I responded to her the next day at 8:06 a.m. In regards to her not having a vehicle to make that appointment. I did work all day to try to get that appointment, someone to get her to that appointment, as I was out of town and seeing other clients that day. I was unable to do that. She failed to call OSAR and let them know that she was not going to be able to make that appointment. So that reported to me as a no call, no show. I had her go drug screen on 2/15, and she was unable to submit the drug screen. She was asked to stay at the facility until she was able to submit one, but she left instead of waiting in the lobby. Apparently she went back on 2/22 and submitted to a hair follicle and a UA, and both of those did come back positive.
Would you say those dates again? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would you tell me to repeat those dates again?
2/22, she went back for a UA and a hair follicle. I'm assuming that still had one that hadn't expired yet, but she wasn't asked to go that day. She was asked to go on the 15th, but both of those did come back positive. And then I sent an email.
Positive for what? I'll be specific.
Oh, positive for amphetamine on one and methamphetamine on the other. Do you need the levels, Judge?
Sure.
Okay, on the hair follicle, it was 2056 for methamphetamine confirmed. And on the UA, 841 on amphetamine and 919 on methamphetamine. And then I emailed the Recover Tree to see if she had set up her counseling appointments yet. I did confirm today that no appointments have been made. And she has not contacted, as of 3/6, she had not contacted Stonebridge to set up that service either.
Right. So has she actively engaged in anything yet?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Did she ever sign her service plan?
She refused to sign the service plan.
All right, but you would agree with me at least that she did do the drug test on February 22nd. So. Correct.
She did do a drug screen on February 22nd, even though she was asked to do that on the 15th, but yes.
And children doing okay?
Kids are doing great. They're doing well in school. They're working to get Zarel caught back up to where he needs to be. And Zabriel, seeing as how he's never been to school before, he's doing great. It's just a lot of learning for him right now.
All right, and where are we on the home study on maternal grandmother?
That was submitted. I don't recall if we've received it back or if it just hasn't been approved or denied yet.
All right, anything else to report?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hammonds.
Judge, in talking with Maria about her situation, of course, she doesn't have a vehicle, so transportation is going to be very difficult. I guess she's just going to have to cooperate with the department, possibly get some bus passes or work with them more directly as far as transportation.
All right, Ms. Godsey, have you talked with Mom about, getting rides to services? And I mean, is she aware that that's available and what to do?
She is. My supervisor and I have both spoken with her on giving us at least a week's heads up so we can arrange a transport to come and pick her up or make arrangements for me to be able to get a fleet vehicle. Using my own vehicle in this case is not an option at this time. So if she gives us at least a week's notice, we can get something arranged, but the night before, the day of, there's just no way. I tried and tried, even though I was traveling out of town. I made several phone calls, sent out several emails, and wasn't able to get anything going for her that day.
Okay. So, Mr. Hammonds, if you'll just make sure and stress when she gets those appointments scheduled to go ahead and immediately request transportation for those days, because most of those appointments are going to get scheduled more than a week in advance. And when we can assist and make sure that she can get there. Anything else, Mr. Hammonds?
No, Judge.
Okay. Okay, then, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I actually saw the boys this past weekend. They are doing wonderfully. At the beginning of this case, I had visited them with Mom in her home. At the very beginning, there was some concern that school wanted Zoriel tested for autism, and we had talked a lot about that. This weekend, I was able to have a very nice, calm conversation with both boys. They both talked to me about school. Zoriel's very excited about school. He gets up and is ready to go. He's not showing any signs at this point of autism. And there's not anything that I would think that he needs to be tested for at this point. His demeanor was very different from before. And they're both doing very well. So I would say I'm not opposed to any home study of a relative at all, but I would ask that we have either a court order or an agreement before they're moved. And they are really doing well in placement.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, then, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the children's current placement. I'm going to order the service plan as an order of the court. Ms. Velasquez, what that means is it's a court order, just like any other court order. So I expect you to abide by it. But more importantly, you need to know that failure to work your services can result in the children not coming home. And Worst case scenario, it can result in termination of your parental rights. So these services are important. They're designed to try to help you, designed to try to help the children. I suggest you get started on these things and try to accept the help that's being given to you. But I can't stress to you enough, failure to work these does not have a good end result. So I'm required by law to make sure you understand that. Do you have any questions about that, or do you understand that?
I will not start services until I see my kids, and I'm not going to continue to do services if they continue to mess with my drug screens because I'm not dirty. So.
Well, I guess we'll just keep doing drug tests. See if we get a clean one.
And I will
Understand you've got a limited amount of time to work these services by law. And
I also have the right to see my kids by law.
I understand that if it's a safe situation for the children. What I'd like to see is a clean drug test.
That is what a supervised visit is for.
Well, but
they have not placed, and that's not protocol.
Well, I agree with you that is what supervision is for, but we have this other problem in that methamphetamine can be transferred skin to skin and absorbed. So as long as you're positive for methamphetamine, you could be, sharing that with the children when you're with them. If you're holding them, hugging them, in close contact with them, and it's a safety issue. So
I'm gonna have to go talk to the clinic because I am not positive. They're not being honest, and my drug tests are being lied on, and this is not right.
Well, I don't think anybody's lying or messing with your drug tests. I don't believe that. We got lots of parents.
Why would the director be doing my drug screen if he didn't think that something was wrong?
The director, who you referring to?
At the lab?
The director at the lab?
Yes, ma'am. He's the one doing my drug screens now because I told him what was going on.
Okay, so he's probably just trying to make sure that you're satisfied and that you're, that you're content that somebody responsible is doing them.
Okay, well, I'll go get the copies from him then.
Maybe he's just trying to go above and beyond and trying to help you,
Or cover his butt because he knows something's going on.
Well, Ms. Velasquez, he doesn't have any motive to mess with your drug tests or anybody else.
I know he doesn't. He doesn't. That's why he's covering his butt.
Okay. Well, all right. You can discuss your options with your attorney, but I want to make sure you understand that there are consequences if you don't work your services. So it's really all I can tell you, and you only have a limited amount of time to do that. And right now, that window is until January 15th of 2024. All right, then I'll see everybody back for our initial permanency hearing, June 27th of 2023. That's a 9 o'clock. I'll call cause number 973. All right, let's go ahead and take announcements.
Todd Abbey on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present, ready to proceed. I have Sabra Stout, who is the department's FBS worker, and Amber Sledge, who is St. Francis, who can give an update on the status of the participation of the parents.
Kenner Arajo on behalf of the mother, Rosalina Ocanas, we're both present and ready.
Vince Noack on behalf of Christian Hatchett. It looks like he's present and I am ready, Judge.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of the children, here and ready.
Okay, so let's get an update. I read the report. but what do we have new since the report was filed?
Just, I think we should start with you. If you give us an update on where we're at, what's going on.
Okay, yes. Since I filed the report, the only updates that I have is that Christian has now scheduled his initial appointment with the Substance Abuse Services with TPC. Both parents have started their online course, and I believe that when I filed the report that Christian's most recent drug screen results were not back yet. Since then, they have come back, and I filed those results of that drug screen.
All right, and it would appear from reviewing the report, then parents are engaged in services.
Yes.
All right. Did mom, we had 2 drug tests that were dilute negative. Have we gotten a good drug screen on her?
Both of the UAs that she's taken have come back dilute negative.
Have you had a conversation with mom about that?
I did. She did report that she drinks water before she takes the UA, but she denies that she's done anything to alter the test.
Okay. All right. Would you say that generally then they're in compliance with their services?
Yes, I feel like they are compliant with their services. It has taken them a little bit longer than I would have liked to get started with some of the services. And they have canceled quite a few services for various reasons. And I've spoken with those providers, and they just wanted me to encourage both of the parents to make sure that they are attending each session that they have scheduled and not miss those services.
Okay, then let me just tell the parents, I mean, understand we've got a limited amount of time to get these things done. And so, you know, if we don't have them done in a 6-month period of time, these folks may be asking for me to extend the case another 6 months, and, you know, we're going to be involved that much longer. So, you know, which you all probably really don't want. So, you know, we really need to get going on these things. Okay. All right, Ms. Naranjo.
I have nothing to add, Judge. From when I spoke to my client, she's been working her services and trying to do everything that she can.
Okay. And Mr. Novak?
Judge, it looks like Mr. Hatchett is doing well. I'm looking at his last drug screen. The only thing that was positive is for marijuana, and I really don't always know how to read these reports, Judge, but it looks like it's very, very low. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Zavala.
Your Honor, I got to meet with the kids in the home again. They look great. It looks like the whole family has a good support system, that they're all working together. And Camila is the best teeth brusher I've ever seen. She was so proud of that. But the kids looked very good.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they need to add today?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I would ask that we, if we need to get a new drug screen on Ms. O'Connor, and that we reset this for about 60 days out.
Okay. Ms. O'Connor, can you go drug test for me by noon tomorrow?
Sorry, I should unmute it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you'll be there before 12 noon tomorrow, it's already getting kind of late in the afternoon for you to do that today. So if you'll just go do that, and let's see what we can get on that. And then I'll see you all back on May 25th of 2023. And that's on a 9 o'clock docket. That'll be our next hearing.
Okay.
So, but it'll be just like today. We'll have a lot of things set on the docket, and my docket will start at 9. You may not be right at 9, but your attorneys be sure you know when to log in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. All right, y'all keep knocking this stuff out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You-
All right.
Hey, Judge.
Yeah.
Two things. First of all, thanks to Miss Katie, number one. Number two, could I get a short breakout room with Mr. Hatchett? And then I think we just leave that room when we leave the hearing, correct?
Yeah, you can leave straight from there.
Excellent. Christian, just choose the breakout room and we'll talk there.
Okay, since Ms. Naranjo's client is there with him, do you want Ms. Naranjo and you both to go, or do you?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Ms. Naranjo, you okay with that?
That's fine, Judge. I just don't know how to go there.
Okay, I'll put you guys in a room.
Okay.
Everybody's gonna go to room 2.
Thank you, Judge.
And Mr. Hatchett, you're gonna get a little prompt on your screen that says join.
Oh.
Thank you, Judge.
Uh-huh. All right.
And Judge, I have to jump off at 3:10. Do you think we can be done with this one? Do you want me to not start it? Tell me what to do.
I really don't know. I mean,
Judge, I think we should be done by 3:10.
Okay. All right.
Is that wishful thinking, Todd, or is that?
It's my fingers crossed, but I don't know what the other guys are going to say, but I know that we just want to continue where we're at. So we'll present it that way.
I'll tell you what, I'll start the cloud recording just in case you have to hop off, Amy. And that way we'll have the whole thing on the Zoom cloud.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You bet. Well, got some lawyers out there. I'm just thinking about letting them in.
We would for sure be done quickly if they weren't.
Yeah, should be okay.
Okay.
Close that door because we've got those kids out there.
Your Honor, my client is with me today. This is Mr. Hamker.
Okay. She's present in the room with you?
Yes. Would you like for me to have her leave for a moment?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope. She just wasn't in the room with you the last time we were together, so I just
I
making sure.
understand.
So we are here today on initial permanency hearings in both cases. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements from everybody.
Todd Albee on behalf of the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready to proceed, Your Honor. Jennifer Campos with St. Francis Ministries is a caseworker and she is present.
Bill Hamker on behalf of Sierra Lazaro. We're ready and she's present.
Randy Sherrod on behalf of Matthew, and he's supposed to be on Zoom, Your Honor.
He's not in my waiting room, but I'll keep an eye out for him.
Okay.
There he is. No, he is. No, he is. He is logged in. He is logged in.
Joel Jackson on behalf of Enrique Mendoza, present and ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children, and because of the nature of some of what's going to be possibly discussed today, I would ask that we go off of YouTube.
All right, counsel, any objection to that for me closing the courtroom?
Not from the department, Your Honor.
Ms.
No
Lazaro
objection.
has no objection.
No objection from Matthew.
And Mr. Jackson, I think you said no objection, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, then based on Ms. Zavala, the attorney ad litem's request, we will go ahead and close the courtroom at this time due to the fact that we may be covering some sensitive information concerning the child or children, child or children.